Hi everyone, it's Marco Brown. Let's talk about mental illness and divorce for a minute. And specifically, I get asked this question all the time, am I going to lose my kids because I have depression or anxiety or some other mental illness? So let's discuss that for a second. Now, the thing to keep in mind is I'm a divorce attorney. I deal with mental illness all the time. Lots of people get divorced and they have mental illness problems. It's usually something like depression or anxiety. Those are the two most common mental illnesses. I think at any given time in America, 12% of the population is clinically depressed. And within a year, about 24% of the population in America is depressed. So if we took away kids for depression alone, we take away kids from almost everybody. Anxiety is kind of the same thing. Everybody goes through bouts of anxiety. Everybody goes through clinical bouts of anxiety in their life, unless they are the most happy-go-lucky human being on the planet, and I don't really buy that. So with those two things, depression and anxiety, not really, that's just not going to happen, not going to affect you and your kids really. Suicidality, so attempting suicide or suicidal ideations, that's a little more difficult. Now, a lot of people have these, a lot of people think about suicide, almost nobody actually acts on it. So if you're just thinking about it, and it goes along with depression a lot of times, that's not really going to do too much, especially if you've taken care of the problem. So you either got yourself on medications, you're seeing a therapist, you've voluntarily agreed to undergo some sort of treatment. A judge is not going to look at that and say, yep, that's the type of person we need to take their kids away from. It's just not going to happen. So one of the real principles here is if you have a mental illness, get some treatment for it. One, because you need it. And two, because if we do go through divorce, it's going to look a lot better that you've received treatment. At that point, the judge is not going to take your kids away unless you pose a real imminent danger to your children. So if you've harmed your kids in the past while you're trying to commit suicide, or your mental illness is such that you put your kids in harm's way, then we really do have a problem that we need to discuss. And if you haven't received treatment for it in the past, we're certainly going to get you treatment for it right now during the divorce in order to deal with this, in order to make sure that we get you as much time and as much custody with your kids as we possibly can. But on the whole, mental illness is not going to keep you from your children. Now, there are some sorts of personality disorders, narcissism, borderline personality, that are really, really intractable problems. And those could affect how much time you have with your kids, because those really do tend to do bad things to children. Again, if you're getting treatment for those things, if you're on medications for those mental illnesses, then that mitigates the damage. If you're not, though, if you're a narcissist or you have borderline personality disorder and you refuse treatment, that's when mental illness can really come into play and really ratchet down the time you have with your kids and the custody that you're going to get with your kids. So again, as I discuss these things, the overarching principle is go get treatment for your mental illness. Do what you need to do. If you deny that you have it, if you will not get treatment for it, that is when it's going to adversely affect you and the custody with your children. Now, if you need help with your divorce, if you have mental illness, or you're married to somebody with a mental illness, I'm sorry, it's tough to go through, and is especially tough to go through in a divorce situation. We can help you here at Brown Law, though. Give us a call, 801-685-9999, or look at us on the web, www.utdivorceattorney.com. Thank you.